everyone, and welcome to my I Love Learning podcast. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson, and I am here today with the lovely Lisa Zarcone, and she is an amazing advocate, and she's an author, and I'm going to have her talk today about her books and her passions. And, we really this week, really in every week, we need a little inspiration. And in fact, I got an email yesterday on November 6th that it was National Stress Day. I can't even believe that they made a day. I mean, everybody seems stressed. I mean, I don't think we need an email to tell us that, but the purpose of this podcast is to provide hope and inspiration and love to help you move forward. So, Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the audience what your passion is?
Sure. So first of all, good morning, Gina. Thank you for having me today. I'm so glad we're able to do this. So again, here I am, Lisa Zarcone. I call myself a woman of many hats.
Oh, I like that.
Because I do so much and there's so much involved in everything that I do. So first of all, I'm a wife and a mother and a grandmother raising two of our grandchildren. So life is very busy, but on my own terms of, who I am as a person, I am Lisa, the author of two books, The Unspoken Truth, a memoir, which is my personal story, and my mom's story, The Book of Joanne. And that's her lifelong battle with mental illness and our path together as mother and daughter, a very complex journey. So moving forward with writing both of my stories, being a child and mental health advocate, social media influencer, you can find me everywhere. I always say Google Lisa Zarcone. I am everywhere. And, I'm always willing and ready to share and talk. And I'm blogging on my own website, lisazarcone.net. So get over there to my website because I have so many really great, things to talk about and, what's happening in the world today. And I am always trying to offer, inspiration and motivation. And of course, I am the Massachusetts National Ambassador for NASCA, and NASCA is the National Association of Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. So as an adult survivor of child and sexual abuse, I use my personal story and my title as a platform to speak publicly about child safety, child abuse, mental health, mental illness, post-traumatic stress disorder, suicide prevention, and of course, how to become mentally healthy, heal, and overcome the things that we've been through in our lives. I'm really, really passionate about sharing my story for purpose, purpose for pain. I went through so much in my lifetime. I lived in silence for a very, very long time. That did a lot of internal damage. So once I broke the silence, moved forward, shared my story, and now putting it all back out there into the world to help others. That is truly my passion. It's helping others to let them know they're not alone in their struggles. We can do this together. We can get over these really difficult hurdles. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of self-love. So there it is. That's what I do. And I am out there every single day advocating for all of these, incredible causes that we do need to speak about.
Wow, that's incredible. You're doing so much to help people. And I love how you said, really giving yourself back the self love. I mean, that's so important, and giving yourself the ability to forgive and move on. And I think about like all those things you said, there's so many different areas there. Was there ever a specific moment was there a hurdle or something in this journey that maybe held you back from wanting to continue forward with it? I mean, because there's just so much there that you write about and talk about.
There is a lot there. My story is really a complex story. There's so much happening. And I always give people the big trigger warning. If you read The Unspoken Truth, I leave it very raw and authentic. It's really profound the way it's put together, written from the child's perspective. So there's a lot there. But yes, when I think about different times in my life, trying to push forward and thinking about what held me back, honestly, what held me back so many times is that silence. I held everything silent. It was all internal. I held it tight. I did not want to look at it. I did not want to face it. And because of that, it did hurt me in so many ways where I was not able to push forward in the ways that I wanted to in my life and the things I wanted to achieve. So I had to take some steps back, really look at my life. And then I had to say those, I call it the dirty words. I said, say those dirty words out loud. You hear it. You validate what's happened to you, breaking that silence. And that is when you can really move forward. And then have to do the work. You have to do the work towards healing. So, holding my silence of what happened to me in my life, the damage that it did, was really, really hard to overcome. It took years and took,
Mhm.
different stints in therapy and a lot of
Mhm.
writing and journaling. And then, of course, a lot of talking. And when
Mhm.
you hear your own voice saying these things out loud for the first time, you're truly validating that, yes, these things did happen to me. And now, how am I going to overcome it and take back control of my life? So it's
Yeah.
been a powerful journey.
I think it's really impactful for the listeners to hear you say that you didn't do this alone. I mean, the thing is, you really, really had a series of different supports and strategies to really help you move forward, and you have moved forward. So, what keeps you happy every day and engaged to continue to do this? Because this isn't easy work. I mean, I know you're busy. We changed the time of the podcast. So what keeps you happy and moving forward towards your passion?
I think for me, it really comes back to mindset. Every day I wake up and I think to myself, okay, Lisa, how are you going to impact the world today? What are you going to do in a positive way that is going to put that good energy out there? And I'm always thinking of my next game plan, my next, moves of what I need to do and what I want to do. And I remind myself every single day, and this is hard to do, it's really a practice skill, reminding myself every day, Lisa, you're worthy of some brain breaks. You're worthy to take time for yourself in between all of those things you want to accomplish. And if you take them one step at a time, one by one, you're going to get it all done. And it always feels
Mhm.
so good when you finish out your day and say, wow, I did accomplish these things. Did everything go my way? Nope, because that is not life. Life is not this perfect bubble. But I accomplished some great goals. I'm doing well. I'm healthy. My family's doing well. And I did really good work today. So, also it's about being your own cheerleader. And I'm a really big believer in that as well. Be your own cheerleader every day. Get up and say, you got this, you can do it. So, those are the things that motivate me daily. I do write a lot of things down and I do check my lists off because I always feel like that completion of checking off the list for myself, I always feel good about it. So, yeah, it's that daily grind of just that self talk, self cheerleading, and motivating yourself to keep on going.
Absolutely. I like that so much. I actually wrote a chapter in my book about thriving, and self talk is so important because when you write it and you say it and you hear it and you continue to do it, it really does reinforce those beliefs from a chemical and emotional standpoint. So it's really impactful to tell yourself those things like, I've got this, I'm strong.
Exactly.
And recognizing that you have that inside of you. And Lisa, is this something that you learned, or was there a moment in your journey that kind of snapped? I remember I just shared my invisible illness. Our book came out yesterday, and there was a moment when I decided, and there was an impactful, point where I learned and shared. So, can you remember that, what it was for you, or the time that really transitioned this idea for you?
I do. And first of all, congratulations on your book. And
Thank you.
I will get a copy. Absolutely. I love reading books and love reading everyone's stories. So I will definitely. So congratulations. It's always
Thank
such a
you.
huge, wonderful accomplishment. It feels great.
Mhm.
For me, there was a couple of different moments in my life, but I'm going to go back to one of the first ones. So this was a time when I was a young girl, probably about 13 years old, and I had been through a lot of abuse at that time. And I had a person in my life who was very abusive, physically and sexually, and I was beaten down at that moment. And I remember being very angry. And that day, I looked in the mirror at myself, and what I saw was something absolutely devastating to me. I saw this young girl, pale, sullen, lost, just like gone. It was like a shell of me. And I kept saying to myself, where is Lisa? Where did she go? And I got
Mm.
really angry and I started to cry and I was banging my fists on the dresser and I was like, where did she go and how am I going to get her back? That was really a
Mm.
big pivotal moment for me because I realized in that moment I
Mm.
deserved better and my self-worth was damaged and my self-esteem was damaged. Everything was damaged. And in that moment, I promised myself that I would claim my future, my life back.
Mm.
And that was a very pivotal moment for me. And then
Mhm.
on the back end of that, going a couple of years later, as I'm on this journey as a young girl fighting for myself, I met a woman who turned out to be my mentor through a work program, and she believed in me. And she,
Wow.
saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. And she was my motivator in letting me know that I was worthy of good things. I had some great qualities inside of me that were worth sharing with the world. She gave me self purpose, she gave me self worth. And that was my second stepping stone moving forward, towards adulthood. But those two
Mm,
really always stand out to me when you think about when did the bell go off?
It's interesting. I think everyone that's listening can be that person to somebody else. Everyone can give that kindness and love to somebody else to help them increase their confidence and increase their self-worth. I think it's really telling that that specific period released emotional resonance in you that you'll never forget. You'll never
Yeah,
forget that moment with that mentor. And it's those moments that we have every single day with each other to be that mentor. Even if you don't see yourself as a mentor, you can be there and be present and be connected and help one another, because you never know what somebody is going through in that moment. You didn't know, she didn't know about your past, or him, they didn't know that about you, and they stepped up and really made a difference in your life. And so thank you to them. And just thank you to everyone who takes their time to go that extra step, even when you're not in the best state or you're struggling yourself,
right.
because we all can be present for each other. And also, you mentioned having that being self-reflective. It's such a powerful, it's so important that you continue to reflect and grow, because growth and learning is the seed of life. And that's my passion. And I love this podcast because it leads into my next question that I always ask. This theme this year is about winning. And I really believe that when you're around people who have the winning mindset, unbelievable things can happen. Lives can change. So
True.
I asked this question, Lisa, to you. What does winning mean to you? If I said, Lisa, what is winning? What does winning mean to you?
What is winning? First of all, I just want to go back one moment and just say that I also believe in mentors. Mentors do save lives. My mentor did help save my life, and we can all be that mentor for somebody. And like you said, we don't know what people are going through, but if we offer kindness and compassion and a little bit of understanding, that goes a long way. A smile goes a long way. So I always encourage people, move forward with kindness and compassion the best that you can. And when I think about winning, winning, that's such a big word for a small word, but winning to me is setting my goals and my plans for what I want to accomplish,
Mm,
visualize myself already being there. And like, I'll give an example, being an author, when I wanted to write my story, I already visualized myself there. I visualized
mm,
myself as this published author doing the work that I do today. Then I dug in deep and I did the work.
mm,
And once I hit that point where I did accomplish my goal, that to me is winning.
mm,
Winning also means when you touch somebody's life in a positive way, that's winning. Sharing
mm.
my story. I was one of my events sharing my story. This woman came up to me after the event. She was about 80 years old. She came up
Wow.
with her daughter. She said to me, I have to tell you, I have never talked about my life in my past. She disclosed her abuse to me right then and there.
Mm,
That she held silent all
how
of her life.
powerful.
She says, my husband
Mm,
didn't know. Her daughter's crying. Her daughter didn't know. But this woman held it all those years. And she said she felt safe
mm,
and strong enough to share it with me because I was brave enough to share my story. That
mm,
to me is winning. I just helped that woman say it out loud, validate what happened to her, and hopefully that gave her a little bit of peace and healing after holding it in for so many years. So to me, winning means all of those things. And also winning to me means when my family's doing well and everyone's healthy and thriving and doing what they got to do and we're having wonderful, incredible moments together. That's also winning. So to all those
absolutely.
all good things, and we should have goals and dreams and wishes and push forward to make them happen because that is what fuels our passion.
Yeah. And you just described the idea of having a ripple effect and just spreading love and kindness to each other and being there for each other. We really do. We just need to be connected in the moment and be and just be there. And whatever that means for that person is so impactful. And that woman that you changed her life, you were there, and she felt that love. And that is transcendental. You know, you can transcend that anywhere, anytime,
You
and
can.
help people heal. And, that kind of goes to my next question. I actually started this podcast 2 years ago. Those who listen to me every week, they hear this, but I mean, I started it 2 years ago because I had a couple drivers, they were reaching out, and they, were really depressed. And, that's a topic when I did my research that the drivers and that we support really wanted to learn about. And so I wanted to be able to share strategies with anybody that's feeling in a tough spot of how they can move forward. So if someone came to you and they said, I've lost my passion for learning and growth, what could you tell them? What would be the strategy, or what recommendation would you have for them?
First of all, I would tell them it's okay to have your moments of struggle, because we all do have that. Give yourself that permission to say, it's okay. Right now I'm having a hard time. I need to figure this out, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because when we do that, a lot of us do that. We're very hard on ourselves and we beat ourselves up for feeling certain ways. And the first thing I would say is it's okay. It's okay to feel the way you're feeling right now. So now what's the next step? What are you going to do about it? And I would say to somebody, take yourself back to your moment where you feel blocked. Where did that come from? Where are you feeling it the most, and why is it there? And take some reflection time to look at that. And once you see it and acknowledge it, you're validating why you're stuck. And then you make a good game plan about how you're going to move forward. And moving forward, it means different things for many people, but encouraging people to take it day by day, take it in small doses. Don't do the overwhelming picture. Don't say, I'm doing all this stuff and think it's all going to happen, because that's not how it goes, because we can overwhelm ourselves very quickly. Take it in small doses moving forward. Always reach out to people for help and support the best that you can, because like you said earlier, when we talked about, I didn't go on my healing journey alone. I reached out. I did do the therapy route a few times. I did write things down. I always encourage people, write your thoughts and feelings down. Then be bold enough to read it out loud back to yourself, because now you're seeing and hearing your own personal struggle, and where are you going to go from there? And then you start to figure out what's the best course, for myself, what's going to help me get over this bump. And always reach out for that help and support, because we all need it at times. Life is hard. We're all going through so many different things. So we're all going to have those moments when we're struggling. So first of all, take care of yourself, good self-care, self-love. Don't beat yourself up over it. And then find those, solutions that are going to help you move forward, and remind yourself you're worthy of great things.
Oh, you're worthy of great things. That's going to be the
Yeah,
title of this podcast.
I
I
like
like
that.
that so
Yes,
much.
I
Yeah, that's
know.
amazing.
I
It's so
believe that.
good.
I do believe that.
Yes.
We are all
Mm-hmm.
worthy of great things. And it's, we put these things into our world, we put things into ourselves, and we try to build ourselves up the best that we can. We are, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we are creatures of, we absorb it all. We absorb everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. So we have to kind of work through all that and just remind ourselves that we are worthy of good things. So
Yeah, we're worthy of good things. I like that. It's going to be the title of this podcast. So I do have to tell you about my new strategy I'm doing this season. So my guest last week came up with a question for you. I gave him your profile, and Blake Lappin, he is the president, founder of No Dwell and Spot On. He is an amazing, amazing human being. He was on my podcast last week, and Lisa, he came up with this question for you. His
okay.
question was, what is a major challenge or painful experience at which the time seemed awful, but for now you're grateful, and why are you grateful?
Wow. Okay, Blake, that's a great question. Blake,
Yeah.
Blake went deep on that one, and I think that's awesome. Thank you. So when I think about, wow, my life, my
Mm,
upbringing, my unspoken truth, that in itself of the journey that it took me to go from this 6-year-old little girl, this lost teenager, damaged so profusely, to a strong adult. Was it an easy path? No, it was a very, very difficult path and a harrowing path. And honestly, on the brink of death at times, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
So to be here today, healed, solid, whole, that in itself is amazing. But then let's take it a step further. I am now sharing my story for purpose. I am now giving back because if I didn't go through
Mm-hmm.
those experiences, as hard and awful as they were, I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do so effectively now. Because when I speak, I always speak from my heart. I always speak from honesty and the raw truths of what happened to me and what happens to many, many people. And I go
Mm-hmm.
deep with those feelings. Anyone who reads either one of my stories, mine or my mother's, you will see that I'm very authentic in how I speak and how I share. I've always believed that honesty is the best policy. You put it out there the way it is, and you are going to reach people because when you're authentic, people do listen, they tap into it, they feel it. They feel like
Mm-hmm.
they are not alone. So, unfortunately, I had to go through these awful, awful, horrific things in my life. But the beauty of it, the gift of it on the other side is I have healed and now I'm giving
Mm-hmm.
back, helping other people. And my goal and my hope is always to touch someone's heart in such a positive way that they feel strong enough to share their unspoken truths.
That's beautiful. And from a science perspective, the fact that you're giving back, you're releasing neurotransmitters that actually make you feel better. So that's the part that I love about it. This is all mind, heart, body connection of going through trauma, going through something tragic and coming out winning and doing good for others makes you feel better and it makes them feel better. It releases dopamine and
Yeah.
neurotransmitters that actually make you feel good. So I think it's beautiful what you're doing. Continue to do it. Keep making a difference. I do want you to ask a question. So next week, I want you to come up with a question for
Okay.
my dear friend Joseph Pauline. He actually is a Navy SEAL. I'm having him on Veterans Day.
Oh, I have.
So we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna change my podcast next week, and we're gonna have him on because he served our country, and he's an award-winning CEO. He's a thought leader, a leader. You have to come check him out next week.
Well,
He's incredible. So, Lisa, what would you like to ask Joseph next week on my I Love Learning podcast?
oh, I have to come up with that right now, right this moment.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, he's a
okay.
leader. You can come up with something.
I
He's a
can.
really impactful leader.
Yeah. So I think for me, I would
Mhm.
ask him. I have a couple things in my head. All of a sudden, I was like, bing, 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 bing. I would ask him what part in his journey did he realize that he was going to impact the world in a positive way from his experiences? That's
That's
the.
all.
Do you
I
like that?
like that. I like that. Joe's gonna listen. I hope he's listening and he's
I hope
thinking
so.
about it. But that's amazing. I hope you all can listen to Joe next week. It's gonna be very impactful, and we're celebrating Veterans Day together. So that will be incredible. Lisa, thank
Yes.
you for joining me today. Let's leave the audience with lasting thoughts. Tell them. I think that you already told them where you can find you, but tell them again,
Okay.
and send us off into this week of November with something awesome.
Okay. First of all, go to my website, lisazarcone.net. You will find me. You will find my books. You will find my story, my blogs. Definitely check out my blogs. They're always so informative. So please check me out. Come say hello. Anyone who emails me, I answer everybody. I really, really do. It's really that is a passion of
That's
mine.
that's that's
Well,
that's
I
impressive.
yeah, I do. I answer everybody because I feel it's important. Because if someone's putting
Yeah.
themselves out there,
Oh my
they need
gosh.
to be heard. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. But so here we are coming into November, the month of Thanksgiving, the month of gratitude. We've all been through a lot in this world this past year, coming off of the
Mhm.
election. I don't talk politics, but what I'm saying, the energy of all of it. It's
Mhm.
time to bring ourselves down to some grounding and some balance. Give thanks for the good things we have in our lives and take a look
Mhm.
at what do you want to tweak and make a little different as we're coming to the end of the year. Be a little mindful of that and think, what are my goals for 2025? Look ahead. Don't look back, look ahead. And I will leave you with my motto. As always, embrace the journey.
I like that. Embrace the journey.
That is my
Incredible, Lisa.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you, everyone who came and listened, who will listen later. Be well, be kind. And like Lisa said, this month, let's be thankful and savor every moment we have with